In this video, we are going to talk about naming hydrocarbons, more specifically alkanes. So let's start with a simple example. How would you name this alkane? So if you count the number of carbons, you can see that we have 5 carbons. So this would be simply called pentane. Now for these names, you should memorize the first 10. So for the main chains, it's going to be these ones. And if you have a substituent, if you have 1 carbon as a substituent, it's going to be a methyl. If you have 2, it's going to be ethyl. And if you have 3, it's going to be propyl. So now let's say we have a compound like this. And the first thing you want to do is count the longest chain. So you can see that we have 5. But notice here that I counted it from left to right. On the bottom, I'm going to count from right to left. Which way should we count the parent chain? Should we count it from left to right, or should we count it from right to left? Well, if we count it from left to right, you can see that the substituent, the methyl, has or is on carbon number 2. And if we count it from right to left, the substituent is on carbon number 4. We always want the substituents to be on the lowest carbon number possible. So we're going to go with counting from left to right in this example. So we have a methyl on carbon number 2, and we have 5 carbons in total. So we're going to call this, or we don't really have 5 carbons in total, we have 5 carbons in the main chain, or in the parent chain, or the longest chain. So this is called a pentane, the parent chain is, and then we have a methyl in position 2. So we're going to call this 2-methyl pentane. Notice that you have to separate the number from the letters with a hyphen. So let's say we have this example. How do we count the carbons of the main chain on this one? Do we count left to right, or do we count right to left? So in this situation, we have 3 substituents. We have 3 substituents that are all methyls. If we count from left to right, we're going to have substituents on 2, on carbon number 2, 3, and 5. If we count from right to left, we're going to have substituents on carbon 2, carbon 4, and carbon 5. So since we want the lowest carbon number for the substituents, we are going to go with the top example. Even though 2 and 5 are the same, the 3 is lower than the 4. So now, how do we name this? We know the parent chain is going to be called hexane because we have 6 carbons in the parent chain. And then in order to name the substituents, we're going to write 2, 3, 5, trimethylhexane. Notice that we had the number of the substituents written in order and separated by commas, and that we have a prefix behind the methyl. So if you have two methyls, you would write di as the prefix. If you have 3, you're going to write tri, and if you have 4, you're going to write tetra. So that's how you name that compound. In the next example, let me change the the way you would number this one would be from left to right, because it would create the lowest number for the substituents. So the name of the parent chain is heptane because it has 7 carbons. We have a methyl on position 3, so it's going to be 3-methyl. And we have an ethyl because it has 2 carbons. The substituent has 2 carbons, so and it's on position 4, so we're going to call it 4-ethyl. Now, how do we put the methyl and ethyl in order? So we have 2 options. We can write the methyl first because the methyl has a number 3 and the ethyl has a number 4. So it would be in ascending order. So it'd be an increasing number order. But we could also write the ethyl first because E comes before M in the alphabet. So which option do we go with? Do we prioritize the numbering order or do we prioritize the alphabet? The priority is always going to be the alphabet. So you would write the ethyl first before the methyl because E comes before M in the alphabet. The next example is going to be this. And I'm going to number it 2 different ways again. So I'm just going to copy and paste it. If we number it from left to right, it would look like this. If we number it right to left, it would look like this. Now the parent chain is octane because it has 8 carbons in it. And on the top we're going to have a 5-ethyl. And we're going to have a 4-propyl. And the reason it's a propyl is because it has 3 carbons. On the bottom we're going to have a 4-propyl, or actually a 4-ethyl and a 5-propyl. If we were to write these out, it would be, for the top one, it would be 5-ethyl, 4-propyl octane, and for the bottom one would be 4-ethyl 5-propyl octane. And so you can see here that because E comes before P in the alphabet, as we learned from our previous example, we always want to prioritize the alphabetical order. However, we have a choice here. We can either write it in increasing number order or decreasing number order, and that wouldn't really change our alphabetical order. So which one do we go with? We're going to go with the increasing number order. So when the alphabetical order doesn't change, you would go with the increasing number order. Now let's do the last problem in this video. So if we count from left to right, we're going to get the lower numbers on the substituents. And we can see that we have a 4-ethyl and a 2,2-dimethyl. So we were to write this, you would write 4-ethyl 2,2-dimethyl, and then the parent chain is a hexane because we have 6 carbons. But you'd say to yourself, hold on, D comes before E in the alphabet, and you'd be correct. So what if we write it as 2,2-dimethyl and then 4-ethyl hexane? What if we do this? Do we take into account the suffix di when we want to write this in alphabetical order? We actually do not. So even though dimethyl, the D comes before E in the alphabet, we're going to focus on the M and we're going to put it behind the E. So this is the one that we would go with. So even though you have suffixes, the suffix does not change the order, the alphabetical order of the substituents in the name. So that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. Leave any questions you have in the comments. Thank you for watching.